Hello everyone, nubkeks here. Welcome back to Nub Raids and welcome to my first of many videos actually on Gnut. He is the new fusion. As you guys know, in my initial reaction video, I said this is a must-do fusion. And after playtesting him, I can tell you, I feel that actually more strongly now. I thought he was a must-do. I thought he was one of the best ever, and he actually impressed me. He exceeded my expectations. So yeah, let that sink in. It's pretty nutty or newty. What we're doing in this video, right? As you can see, we've got no accessories and like I don't have him in any real particular sets. We're going to be going in with, you know, a lot of budget champions. I've taken off their accessories to simulate I have a great haul, obviously, which is giving me extra stats. So we're taking off the accessories to kind of remove for that and correct for that. But we're going to be doing fairly budget teams for every single dungeon at stage 20 and showing you how Gnut can open those up for you. All right, because remember, stage 20 dungeons, what's so good about those? They are still pretty much the most efficient way to spend your energy for getting tournament points for fusions, right? For the dungeon tournaments and fusions and dungeon divers, it's pretty much the fastest, most efficient way to do it for any of the tournaments at the moment. So yeah, that's what we want to focus on. I don't have him booked either. Unfortunately, Artak, right, is going to be booked, but that's okay. Because I'd imagine a lot of people that are in position to get Gnut probably already have Artak and are booking him. So for this video, Gnut is not going to be booked and he's still totally overpowered. It's great. It's amazing. So let's take a look at his kit and then let me actually show you the runs, right? So his A1 is a triple hit. Each hit can decrease turn meter, and if the turn meter is not decreased, it can freeze. This is just so unbelievably strong for anywhere where turn meter control is good. So wave-based content, amazing. Spider boss, Fire Knight boss, just everywhere, so strong. He will freeze off this counterattack as well, right? An enemy attacks him, their turn meter is empty because they've just taken their turn. It triggers this counterattack. He will freeze them. Okay, he will freeze enemies off his counterattack. So you actually see that in some of these runs here. So this is such a good move. His A2 is an AoE that can put decrease attack and weaken and counterattack on himself. We talked about why the counterattack with him is so strong, but AoE decrease attack and weaken is fantastic. I guess it's a bit of a pity in a sense that Artak is already bringing decrease attack. So you're sort of doubling up there, but you're just making it consistent. I think the first team I'm going to show you on Dragon, we're not going to use Artak. I actually ran Dragon with Artak and with a Kale instead of Artak. I'll probably show you both runs here. But yeah, the first time Gnut is going to be bringing the decrease attack. But this is, again, a good move. AoE damage, decrease attack weaken is fantastic. Then Blessed Bash. This is the best single target enemy max HP nuke in the game. Let me repeat that. The best. It is the best because it's a triple hitter, all right? Even Acrisia has a double hit enemy max HP nuke. This is better than that. It does have a longer cooldown, okay? But still, it also permanently decreases the target's defense, which is just amazing, and heals him by damage dealt. You'll have fun. You'll have fun seeing this move. Unfortunately, because it's not booked, it's a 5-turn cooldown. He's missing 20% damage as well. You're going to enjoy this. Wait till you see. Passive, kind of nice. I think the funniest thing about this is just more of an instructional thing. It's a nice little bit of extra damage, but probably a lot of people don't know when you do normally counterattack, you usually have a 75% damage cap, right? Or 25% damage penalty, I should say. Gnut doesn't have that. He does full damage when he counterattacks. So it's just kind of more so teaching you about the game. Oh, when you counterattack, there's normally a little bit of a penalty to damage. And then finally, he has 80 accuracy in dungeons, which is just, it's so good. And we're actually going to be building around that. So let me go in here. We're going into stage 20 of Dragon. I've recorded this so we can actually come in. And look at this, watching it live. We'll up the speed. 1.5 is probably okay. Let me just show you the build for these champions. So Gnut himself, how did I build him? What I want to do with the Gnut, I'm putting him I'd be putting him in a lot of my best gear possible because this champion is so insane. I want to build him with decent speed. I want him to be fast and cycling through those abilities, getting back to his moves as quickly as possible. We want him doing the turn meter reduction. So speed is a big priority. I want him to have 120 accuracy, at least. He's going to get the extra 80 for dungeons from his passive, okay? If you're going to be putting him in to, let's say, Ultra Nightmare, Demon Lord Clan Boss, I'd be pushing this up to 200. And if you're going into hard mode dungeons and so on, I'd be going up higher, right? But for the sake of regular dungeons, 120 accuracy is going to be enough. 100% crit rate, absolutely mandatory as well to make his A3 crit. You want that to crit, and then giving him as much crit damage as you can. And then after that, defense is pretty good as well. So for example, I did put him, I will be cheeky, I put him in a really nice pair of gloves. We've got defense, % chest, speed boots, and then we're looking for basically stuff with speed, accuracy, crit rate on it, things like that. This is nice. It is 5-star. It's legendary, so this is a bit cheeky. I didn't glyph everything because I knew that people would look at a couple of those pieces and be saying that's kind of cheeky. We've got Reliquary Tender. She's coming in, so we do have her in a regen set, actually 6 pieces. I don't know why I did 6 pieces, but I did. You only need 4. Didn't get enough sleep last night, I suppose. But she's got good speed, lots of HP, and a good bit of defense, and that's it. We only want those 3 stats on her. And oh, these are her masteries, so you can see those. I forgot to show you Gnut's mastery. So for Gnut, I'm going to bring him into Giant Slayer because he's got those triple hits, so really upping his boss damage. Going to make his debuffs last longer. And I said I'd make his A1 hit a bit harder as well. If you don't have him booked, Sniper's probably a bit better, actually, but it's not a huge deal, really. So fairly straightforward on the masteries for Gnut. For Apothecary, he doesn't have his masteries finished. That's fine. We can finish them off right here if you want to see. So how would I finish off Apothecary? Again, because he's got a triple hit A1, I throw him into this. This is probably actually a little bit deceptive. Then I don't know, here it doesn't really matter. Give him some more speed if somebody's dead. It doesn't really matter. Bear in mind, he does not have Giant Slayer because I've recorded the video already, okay? So he's not going to have that. It's going to give him a bit more damage. Apothecary, very simple. Lots of speed and then defense. You can even give him some HP, but speed and defense are sort of the main things to give to him because he can actually be a pretty decent tank in the early game. So that's going to be quite nice. If, by the way, you do have loads of accuracy on everyone, he does have a nice aura. You could use that aura instead of Gnut if you do have enough accuracy. We've got War Maiden. She is in a stun set, which is kind of nice, but you could put her in anything. Again, good speed for her, 100% crit rate, and then enough accuracy. You can give her some HP, some damage. Like I put her in a HP % chest with speed on it. I thought would be the best thing for her. And she's in, for example, crit rate gloves and speed boots. Then who else did we have in this run? I think we've got Kale in this run as the final one. So Kale, he is coming in 196 speed. We're trying to give him as much attack and crit damage as possible. And again, enough accuracy. In this case, it's 120. And he has these masteries. War Maiden, almost the same masteries as well. So yeah, again, you can tweak them. None of these masteries are super crazy important, right? Like, for example, right there, just to point it out, then we will get into the run. Sorry, it's a bit of an intro. War Maiden, for instance, okay, she's coming in with Whirlwind of Death and Cycle of Violence. You can absolutely give her Life Drinker instead, or give her Arcane Celerity instead, or whatever. It doesn't really matter all that much. So yeah, I guess one interesting thing with Gnut, we do have him with Evil Eye for even more turn meter reduction, which for me, later game, I wouldn't normally give to people, so that's worth pointing out. Right, let's go into the run. So here we go, we're going into Dragon. This, unfortunately, is Dragon 20 is going to be Gnut's worst spot because he is green affinity and the enemy are blue affinity. So he has that 35% chance to weak hit. You can see though, when he goes in with that A3, it hits really hard. And there he went in, you see, with a counterattack, and he locked down that enemy. Again, his A1, it's going to do pretty good damage, right? I really recommend building him with crit rate and with speed, bit of defense, and he's actually going to put out some pretty decent damage on these hits. See, it's important for us. Reliquary Tender, okay? She's going to be bringing a revive. She also brings cleansing and healing. Any reviver is going to work here. Her revive is actually one of the worst in the game, but it's just the fact that she's a rare, she's easy to get, but it's got a long cooldown and it brings them back at like 20% HP. So as you can see right there, Kale does just die again, but it's going to be okay. We're going to get through the waves anyway. One amazing thing about Gnut, look at him go. Right, Gnut, he is absolutely tanking this up like a storm because he has such brilliant base stats, right? He's very tanky. He's a tanky boy, unlike Kale here. So Gnut, yes, he's weak affinity. He's going to get crit more, but he's actually very survivable. He is staying alive pretty much no problem. And he's still putting out good damage too. We're going to get through the waves. It's taking us a little bit of time, but we will get through. Oh, look at that. Kale almost goes down, but he barely lives. Bang. Gnut, he actually, again, you can see in his A1, I think if he fails to place the decreased turn meter, he froze that enemy. So that's pretty cool. Maybe that's like an unbooked trick, makes it a bit better. Not too important, but wait till you see Gnut do his A3 on the boss. It's going to be pretty glorious. Boom, look at that dragon's HP bar. Absolutely dropping down. That's with about 200% crit damage, right? 200% crit damage, and he ripped through. And again, he's not booked or anything, and he's still doing work. Kale's putting out poisons. Those poisons are ticking. War Maiden's doing a bit of damage as well. Look, Reliquary Tender comes in with the cleanse. Apothecary is there just for that turn meter boost to keep us going fast, keep us in control and on top of things. And he even has a little bit of healing as well. Kale putting out some more poisons. Poisons are doing work. Gnut goes in and finishes off the boss. If I throw in a quick pause right here, you can see the total damage. Gnut, again, despite being the wrong affinity, actually did fantastically in this dungeon. And this is his worst. It's his worst one, and he's still doing great. So you can see it's a bit of a slow run, about 3 minutes, but it should still give you an idea for what you can do. Gnut's just brilliant there. Next up, we have Ice Golem. So my test run for this went a bit differently. You're going to see the ending to this run is hilarious. You'll see one of the things that can go wrong with Gnut. But here we're going to be bringing in Artak instead. Oh, and actually I realized that Artak doesn't have his move set up correctly. So Artak, we're going to be setting Purifier as his #1 priority, because basically what he does otherwise is he'll try to do the decrease attack. So if I show you Artak's gear, Artak actually has very good gear on. I just took off his accessories. This is the gear I normally have on. So he's in Provoke Perception, and you can see he's got tons of HP and all this. What do we want to do with Artak? Again, if we're running him with Gnut here, he only needs the 120 accuracy for the dungeons because of the Gnut aura. It's going to be, 120 or above accuracy. It's going to be plenty. Decent speed, and then give him some HP. And that's basically what he wants, right? You don't need anything much else. Like, there's all this crit damage when he's got no crit rate is a waste of time. It's just what I've got in the gear. And for his masteries, we do have him coming into War Master and just extending his burns. They're the most important things there, really. So let's jump back into the run and let's see him in action. Artak is going to be great. Artak, he's going to be putting out just good AoE damage with those HP burns. And again, he's going to make the decrease attack very consistent, right? Between Gnut and Artak, we're definitely going to have decrease attack up on all of these enemies basically all of the time. I didn't bring Kale into this one because Ice Golem actually hits really hard. And I figured Kale would have a bit of a tough time surviving. And it's pretty cool to see Artak doing his thing as well, right? So, yeah, here we go. Gnut's going to be doing a lot more damage on this one because he's not going to have any weak hits, right? So we're going to see Gnut start to pop off pretty hard. Again, you can see him landing a freeze with this A1. I think that's because it's unbooked. These enemies that do Shriek are pretty nasty. So that's one thing, right? You could improve this team or these teams by bringing in better champions. Like you could bring in someone with better crowd control. We've got a stun set on War Maiden, which is nice but not essential, but you could bring in someone with better crowd control and you can make things happen with that. Here we go. We're going in. We've got the burnout, decreased defense. You see we're taking a pretty big hit. We're doing some A1s right there. Basically all of our stuff is going to miss right now because this boss does put out decreased accuracy and we just don't have enough after that unless we get the cleanse. But just wait for it. Wait for it on this boss, guys. No weak hits. Gnut, he's getting ready. Here he goes. Oh my god. And look at that. He almost one-shot the Ice Golem. And then look at this. He does 3 retaliation hits in a row. I couldn't believe it. So this was quite funny. I did do a couple of test runs for each of these teams, and that didn't happen before. He was using his A3 on the enemies, but look at that. The boss dies from the burn, and because the boss died, we actually win, even though everyone was dead, which I thought was hilarious. So I think a couple of things I would say with Ice Golem. With Gnut, as you saw right there, if you want this to be safe and consistent, I'd probably turn off his max HP nuke. It is actually too strong. At the same time, we did miss the weaken. If he had landed weaken on the boss, it got resisted, just unlucky. I think he would one-shot the boss with weaken on pretty much. So that A3, if there was a weaken debuff on the boss, would have killed the boss. Yeah, because the boss does not have weaken. With weaken on, he would be dead right now. Gnut would have one-shot him, okay? So maybe that's just a way to speedrun it. And if you have another max HP nuker, like a Coldheart or something like that, we could probably build a team very easily where you would one-shot that boss, no problem, and you could kill Ice Golem very quickly. With this team, though, you could totally just turn Gnut's A3 off on the boss. It's going to be safe, and you're going to get through no problem. Loads of decreased attack from Gnut and Artak, plenty of damage. You're going to get through just fine. It'll probably be more like maybe 3.5 minutes or so if you turn that off, but it's still going to be pretty quick. Next up then, let's go. We're going to check out Spider. Oh, this is going to be a quick one. A very, very quick one. So here we are. And again, similar sort of team. Very similar sort of team. This time, we're not bringing the revive in. We're going to bring in someone who's going to be a spider tank. What is a spider tank? How does it work? Very simple, really. Force affinity, right? Because the spider is on stage 20 spirit affinity. What this is going to do, the spiderlings are going to love to attack Drexstar because he's force affinity. You could use any force affinity champion for this. You can even use any spirit affinity champion, but they have to, it's becomes very tricky in terms of managing how much HP do they have to bait the spiders in. I really recommend trying just a force affinity champion if you can. And then you just want to build them with a good chunk of resistance. If we want to find out exactly how much resistance, I'd recommend using hellhades.com. So if we come over here and we go to the stages tool, let me just show you this, and you can apply this to oh my, basically everything in the game. If it loads, oh, some internet troubles. Oh my. Okay. Well, let me see if I can get that to load up. In the meantime, well, we'll keep going for now. Maybe not, but we'll find out exactly how much resistance you need when my internet ain't dead. Weird. But yeah. Okay. Who else do we have in here? So he's in here, and you just want him to have good HP and enough resistance. That means he's not going to get poisoned by the spiderlings. For my Drexstar, he has these masteries. He's not booked. Again, it doesn't really matter. He's literally just there as a punching bag. The reason Drexstar is good is that he will burn them when he's a punching bag. That's nice. Gives us a bit of extra damage, okay? Who else do we have in here? Armiger. Armiger has got that turn meter deplete on his A1. He also has an enemy max HP nuke, but we're not really going to use it. We have him with these masteries. War Master, I'd say, would actually be better for this particular run. So I would be giving him War Master for extra damage instead of what I did. But let's hit play and let's see this in action. Oh, actually, before we go, I did set up a couple of presets for this run as well. So you can see those, just so you know what to expect. So for this one, Gnut, okay, we're going to turn off his A2. We don't want it. Don't need it. Decrease attack doesn't matter. The weaken doesn't matter. We're just going to have him do his turn meter. That is important to stop the spider taking a go, and then doing his big nuke as much as possible. Apothecary is fine. Armiger is fine. Armiger will do his A2 if the spiderling's turn meter is low enough, the spider queen. If their turn meter is low, he'll do that. Otherwise, he won't. And again, with Artak, we got to force him to do his burn, right? So here we go. Let's hit play. Let's go. You get the speed boost. We put out the burns on everything. Boom, boom, boom. 3 big juicy hits there from our boy. Not too bad. And you can see there will be some hits going towards Artak. That is because he has a provoke set on. If he didn't have the provoke set, it wouldn't be on. But you can see when Artak explodes the burns, it does so much damage. And Gnut is the perfect companion for Artak for this dungeon, right? Artak could kill this boss himself. He could do it himself, right? With the burns and exploding the burns, he can do it just fine. We put Gnut in there. Gnut gives him exactly what he needs, which is keeping the boss's turn meter down, stopping the boss taking a turn. We put that in with, and look at that, beautiful, about 1 minute run and 100%, no problems. You can see Artak doing most of the damage. Yeah, Gnut's got some big hits, but really Artak is king here with the AoE HP burn explosion. Drexstar, any force affinity champion to tank the spiderlings, really, that's just tanky enough to survive. Apothecary is going to help them survive with his single target heals. Armiger to help keep the turn meter down. You can see he did no damage, but he's keeping the turn meter down. He's just an uncommon. Bada bing, bada boom. Spider is dead. That simple. Right, then the final dungeon to show you is Fire Knight. So for Fire Knight, again, it's the same sort of team we've seen before. This time we're bringing in a Coldheart. But you'll see Coldheart probably not even that important. And for Fire Knight, you can see we're just going to make Gnut open with his A1 on the boss. Same thing with Apothecary, open with his A1. War Maiden, I didn't turn anything on, but you should probably have her open A1. Reliquary Tender, let her do whatever. And then Coldheart, we're going to just priority 1 on Art of Pain on the waves and let her do whatever against the boss. Coldheart AI is unique. She will not waste Heartseeker. She won't use it unless the shield is down. If the shield is up, she's actually just going to A1, which is great. When it's 4 hits, it's going to help with the Fire Knight shield. For her gear, if we jump over to show you Coldheart's gear, and wait till you see Gnut versus Coldheart. It's quite something. Coldheart, she's actually in a destroy set because I had it built for other stuff. So about 183 speed. She only needs 70% crit rate and then 200% or so crit damage. It's going to be lovely to hit nice and hard. 177 accuracy. Again, remember, because we've got Gnut in there, we're looking for above 120. And give her some HP or defense. Like, let's see. I think she has, yeah, like she has a HP percent chest, for example, to help her survive. For her masteries, we do have her going into Giant Slayer. You could totally give her Flawless Execution instead. That works just fine. Whatever you prefer. I have her with just this stuff. Fairly standard Coldheart masteries, really. And yeah, let's go. Fire Knight. This is Gnut's best dungeon. And he's going to be brilliant here on hard as well. Again, I thought it was good to start off, guys, with doing this as like a fairly budget early game team. Because my main logic is, I think if you're further in the game, it shouldn't be too hard for you to do this fusion. Like, you have the resources. It's easier for you to get the resources. It's easier for you to do this stuff. And hopefully it's going to be very obvious to you when you're more experienced how insanely good this champion is. But I think for a newer player that's come into the game and for whom this fusion is going to be very difficult, I said, hey, I want to get that info out to those newer players as soon as possible so they can come in and go, oh, I see how good this fusion is. I see how he can work for my teams. I know now that I want to go really hard to get this champion. I think it's probably going to be a difficult fusion. I will have a video out later today when the fusion calendar is up, or maybe the fusion calendar video is already up. I don't know which will go out first. But yeah, you'll be able to watch that and get a good idea. Look at that. He's actually frozen these enemies, making the waves a bit easier. Yeah, you'll be able to watch that, and I'll break down exactly what to do to get this fusion, but I really hope you can get it. Here we go, against the boss. Again, we're mostly opening with our A1s just to get this shield down, and then we can start doing stuff. Look at that, Gnut's A1 actually starts decreasing turn meter already. Unfortunately, we didn't land the weaken because it's not 100% chance because he's not booked. And look at this. Boom, we get the counterattack in, or we get the attack in from the boss, but because we've got decreased attack on from Gnut, we actually survive no problem. And here we go. Again, Gnut's keeping that turn meter down. The counterattack helps us to take that shield down quicker. Big Heartseeker from Coldheart, but boom, here comes Gnut. Look at that. Oh my God. So you're probably saying like, man, I don't have Coldheart. This is not doable. Did you just see that? Gnut is Coldheart on steroids for this. Coldheart is insanely good for Fire Knight. Gnut is better, man. That max HP hit is absolutely massive. That consistent turn meter reduction on his A1 is huge. The decreased attack against the boss makes it safe. He is like unbelievably good for Fire Knight. Unbelievably good. He's insane for all the other dungeons, but this is his best one. No question. He is fantastic. So yeah, I mean, I think we threw in like Artak. Yeah, I threw in Artak. I wanted to see putting in Artak instead of Kale. We'll let this roll out. But basically, look, you've seen Gnut in this. Let me know where else you would like to see Gnut. I will probably be doing him. Obviously, I'll do like a more end game run as well. I might even do like an early game Hydra. I didn't want to do it in this video because it's going to be a little bit long, and I have to just like check exactly how much accuracy and stuff we need for that. So I wasn't quite prepared. I thought this was plenty. 4 dungeons? That's 5. 4 dungeons is enough for this video. But we might do an endgame look at Gnut as well and see him in, and like endgame Hydra stuff. See him in the new dungeon. So maxed out for that. See him in Fire Knight Hard, maybe stage 10 if I'm able to make that work. I haven't tried yet. I was actually away all weekend in the UK. visiting all the other content creators. So they're probably a bit ahead of me. Like the guys living in the UK, they had Sunday to actually go back and work on this, whereas I was traveling basically and sleeping all of Sunday, just getting back. So I didn't have far to go. It was just to Ireland, but my flight was through. I had a 45-minute flight from Ireland to the UK where I went to. It was delayed by 3 hours in the airport. It's crazy. Anyway, look, so there's lots more to come on Gnut, but let me know what you want to see. Long story short, is this fusion good? Yes, in my opinion, this is arguably the best fusion we've ever had. Like, this guy is so insanely good. Let's see, will he get a Blessed Bash off? Can we get one more? And again, remember, in this video, he's unbooked. He'll do 20% more damage with his Blessed Bash when he's booked, and he's going to get it back much more frequently. Let's see if we can make it happen. You can see we're just nice and consistent here. The weaken fell off, but bam, look at that. He just rips through that health bar, and he's the wrong affinity as well. So, like, his worst dungeon, he's ripping through. Interestingly enough, from this test, this seems a bit sort of maybe safer, a bit more consistent than the Kale version. And it is a little bit faster, but not like crazy faster. Kale, actually, with the poisons, he does do quite a bit of damage to this boss. So, yeah, there is that. So, yeah, this team is good, but it's not insane. But there you are. 3 minutes with the Artak version. So there you go. I honestly think if you're a new player with Artak and Gnut, you just got two of the best Legos in the game for free. Congratulations, you're good. Thanks for watching, everyone. Give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed, and I will see you all next time for more Gnut, probably. See you all then. Goodbye.